listening carefully to this morning's announcement, you heard that on Sunday, okay, on March 2nd, he would be 110 years old. Okay, that's pretty old, right? But how many of us are still reading Dr. Seuss books? I know, I am too. Okay. So today, I asked the teachers to gather you here because not only are we celebrating his birthday and just the love of reading, but I have a special guest who I've invited to come to visit with you. And this special guest is so awesome and so special, not only because she published and she wrote this book recently, but she was a Books Cross student. Okay? So this is Miss Aara Chandrashekaran. And Aara is a high school student. It's her first year of high school. But she came to Brooks Crossing, I think she started in 2nd grade. She was here for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And so she came today to talk to you about her journey, talk to you about her book, and I'm going to give you a little warning. At the very end, we've got some questions. Those of you who are really good listeners will know the answer, and you will be able to win a little prize. So let's give Aara a special welcome with a round of applause.
So hi, like Mrs. Tom said, my name is Aara, and I'm here to tell you about a book I published last August of 2013, and it's called A Matter of Time. So I'm in 9th grade now at South Brunswick High School, and I actually did come here to Brooks Crossing for 2nd through 5th grade, and had Mr. Burris for 5th grade. I started writing when I was about 3 or 4, and it was actually just these little random pieces of paper. I just write a couple of sentences on there, do one of these little messy illustrations, and call it a story. So this is actually one of my first stories, and it was about the time I went to New York. So you can see all these like spelling errors, you can't even tell what that's a drawing of, all these like grammatical mess-ups, but it doesn't matter because that's actually where I started. I think I enjoy writing so much because you can say so many different things in so many different ways, and there's just so many chances to say whatever you want, and it's like kind of painting a picture like you like art, but with words in this case. So it's also it makes you feel very powerful because you're in control of everything that goes on in the story. So when the characters meet, what happens to them, what happens in the plot, anything that you can make up is possible if you write it. So I just really like that. So now that I knew that I did want to write, it was up to me and the people around me to kind of nurture this passion, and we did that by giving me writing exercises. So my parents would sometimes give me these writing exercises like this one, and they would give me 10 random words. So my dad would sometimes flip through a dictionary and just pick out any 10 words, and he would put them at the top of the paper, and I would have to write a story that had all these 10 words in it. So this taught me being able to get my point across in limited room, because I usually could only use 1 to 2 pages. And this was very valuable because once you get into middle and high school, it's not fun, but you have a lot of timed writings because they help you later in life with being able to say things efficiently and quickly and still very meaningfully. So that helped me a lot in that regard. And my teachers would also give me a lot of these kind of exercises, and they all had some kind of purpose. So we had all those like picture prompts where you have to be able to think quickly, use your imagination to come up with something. Everyone likes picture prompts too. So I got all the support and encouragement from everyone and everywhere. All of my teachers, Ms. Rasanello in 3rd grade, Ms. Smith in 4th grade, Mr. Burris in 5th grade. And then I got to middle school and I had Ms. Doyle, Mr. Anzac, and Ms. Johnson and Mr. Nalvin, and they all taught me everything I know about writing today, all of these technical things about how to use different similes and everything like that, how to tell a story interestingly, how to catch the reader's attention, everything like that. And they also gave me very valuable feedback and criticism, which is very important because when you're reading your own story and your own work, you can't really see what's wrong with it because you know everything already in your head. So when you're reading, you can't find all these like plot holes or anything like that. So when you give it to someone else to read, they can find it all really quickly, and that helps me a lot. So by the time I got to 7th grade, it was my dream to publish a book before I became a teenager, because at that time I was 12. And unfortunately, that did not happen. I was in the process of writing the book, and I wasn't able to finish it. So I did not give up. And you can see I just put a picture of it that I thought was really meaningful. It just has success and perseverance. Does anyone know what perseverance is?
Never giving up.
Yeah, good job. It's when you don't give up, when you keep going, you're determined no matter what failures happen, like obstacles coming your way, you just pick yourself up and you keep going. And that leads to success, because at some point you are going to achieve what you want to achieve. I thought that was really important. So this book began as one little simple idea, and this was, what if there was a portal that connected another universe to ours? And I came up with this idea because at the time, a lot of science fiction and fantasy were really popular. There was Harry Potter, there was the Percy Jackson series, there was all of that. So I started thinking along those lines, and I was just sitting there and I came up with this idea. But of course, there wasn't just coming up with the idea. First, I had to get it down on paper. So I would come up with characters, I would make up backstories for them, and how they would meet, what would happen to them, and I just started writing, and I finally completed my first draft. And I got a lot of people to revise and edit, which was very valuable. I approached some of my teachers and would give them the work, or my parents would sit with me and just reread sections of it. So after all of that, I finished my first draft. So once the writing itself was done, there was still so much to do. So I knew that I wanted to publish the story. So we talked to Create Space, which is this part of Amazon that helps you publish your books, and they'll offer you different services like editing or illustrations, and they'll do whatever you need, and you just pay for it, and they will publish and sell your books. So I got the editing service from them. So they just read through my manuscript, and they would put little comments on it that about things I needed to fix. They would revise it, and when it came back to me and my dad and my mom, I would just sit there and they would fix a lot of the loopholes, any like holes in the plot, like if I left anything unexplained or if the description didn't make sense or something like that. We went through and I fixed all of that. And after everything, I was finally ready to format it for publishing. So this is how it looked when we put it all together. That's the prologue, it's the very first page. And then I needed the illustrations and the cover. So my dad actually had a student named Keith Griffiths, who is an artist and a filmmaker. So we went to him and we asked him for help with this, and he said yes. So he did all the illustrations in the book. He's really talented, as you can tell. So these are just some of them from the book. That's when he's going through the portal, one of the characters. That's Palace in the Clouds. It may not make sense right now, but it's, yeah. So then, once we had all the illustrations put in, we had to find a cover. So he gave us lots of different options, lots of basic sketches of the cover. And here are two of them, two of the very basic sketches. So we just experimented, we'd move around the title or we'd move around my name and do different illustrations or different scenes on the cover just to see what fit best and what was like most attractive to people. We even experimented a lot with the color themes. So as you can see, we had yellow and green as one of the options, and eventually we actually decided on this, and this is how the book looks right now. So the basic book is about, like I said, two worlds that are connected by a portal. And one of them is Earth, and another is called Ziermini. And I thought it's kind of interesting because when I was in 5th grade, we did every week, we did research about the United States of America. We'd have to come up 5 of them each week. Then we'd have to find the capitals and a lot of features of that state. So I was very interested in the capitals. So I really like the way some of them sounded. So I take like Albany from New York or Pierre from South Dakota, and I just combined some of them and I came up with this, and I just never wanted to change it. So that stayed. And it's also about 2 boys named Andy and Pip, one from each world, and they each want to prove themselves. They each have their own fears that they have to overcome by the end of the book. They each have their own dreams that they want to pursue. But at its heart, the book is really about adventure. It's about finding yourself and believing in yourself and being determined no matter how many times you fail and what is thrown your way. So now we come to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Has anyone ever heard of that? Yeah, it's a charity organization. And all the money that they raise, they use to pay for granting the wishes of children who have life-threatening illnesses. So if it's a child's dream to go to Disneyland or something like that, then they'll use the money that they get to grant that wish. So that's actually important because all the money that comes from selling this book, all the money that I get, because some of it goes to the publishers, is going to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And as of now, we have $400 that we donated to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So my final advice for you is to, if you want to become a writer, it's important to keep reading and keep writing, because when it comes down to it, good reading fuels good writing, and the more you read, the better you're going to write. Each helps the other. So that's all. It's not everyone wants to be a writer. Not everyone needs to become a writer. Just find whatever you are passionate about, whatever you are dedicated to, because you can't take someone else's dream, and you're not going to be as passionate about that and get there. So find whatever you want to do, and one that you look after. There's a quote from Albert Einstein that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So I modified that a little bit, and I said that success is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. And what this means is that only that littlest bit, that 1% of success is being there at the right time or getting inspired by the world around you. But the rest of it is all what you do and the effort that you put into your goals. And all of that is what eventually leads you to success. So now we have the questions. First one is, what is the title of the book?
All right, this is where you get a chance to win the prize.
I'm coming.
So Miss Ida is one of our prize giver Aara, and so she's got some bookmarks that localize the covers. So she's got the answers to the first one. Let's see. Okay, we're back. All right, so Miss Ida is going to give you a prize. Ready? We'll see how good you are to listen. Ready for the second question? Great. Second question is,
What charity organization are we donating?
All right, second prize. All right, next good listener, ready for the next question? Here goes.
What are the names of the 2 main characters in the novel?
Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay. Aara's final question. Now I have questions.
This is kind of a hard one. Fill in the blank. Good blank produces good writing.
Reading.
So I just want to offer my sincerest thanks to Principal Mahoney for giving me the opportunity to speak today.
You're welcome. We love having you back, but really you have to give kudos to Miss Tom. She's the one who set it all up.
hoping maybe to be writers, or maybe you're hoping to be something else, but maybe we could take advantage of having her here with us and ask a few questions that you might have. So we'll take a few questions, okay, and then I'll have a few questions at the very end, all right? So who has a question for Aara? TJ.
Where will this book be available?
Where will the book be available?
Yeah.
It's on Amazon. If you go on, I think it's about $13.99. But Miss Tom actually has order forms.
And I'll talk to you about that in a few minutes.
And it's on the
We also have two
website,
copies.
sorry, but not in the store.
We have 2 copies this week. All right, go ahead.
Well, you talked about the middle school teachers and the elementary school teachers, but you never talked about the
Actually, I published it in the summer in August before coming to high school, so I told them about it, but they didn't know. That's a good question. I've had the idea, yes, I do want to write a sequel to this book, so I am thinking about it, and I've started writing and jotting down things, so yes.
Laura?
Isn't it like, I was wondering, did you, like, for the book, or like if, was it like, was Make-A-Wish Foundation also one of your inspirations? Like, did you say, oh, let me do this so I can go and help the Make-A-Wish Foundation?
Actually, it was always one of my dreams. Like, I think I said to write a book, so I didn't write it just with the intention of donating to Make-A-Wish, but I've also heard about that in school because I think we were doing a project to donate to there. So I thought it was a really worthy cause, so I thought I might as well donate all funds for this to them. That's what I thought.
How long did it
I started just writing things down in 5th grade. For a long time, I didn't do much with it. I finished it, but I didn't do much. But then so about 2 years in total. And in the last summer, I just went and finished all the editing, all the revising, and got it actually published.
It's a long journey. I think most of you have been here for most of the author visits that we have had throughout the years you've been here, right? You hear the same message that if you're really, trying, and don't give up, that you will come to success. Remember that little crossword with the little tiles there, right? Okay, Shikar, do you have a question?
How did this piece of writing inspire you?
Sorry.
How did the writing inspire you?
What do you mean by that?
Like, who inspired you to write this piece of
How
writing?
did you get inspired?
Everyone around me motivated me. Ever since I did start writing, I really enjoyed it, and I don't know, I just had this passion for it. Think about whatever interests you and whatever you're passionate about. That's how I feel about writing. So once I had that basic passion, I think I also had the ideas, and I thought I'll just start writing, and it just happened. And I wanted it to happen, and everyone.
Even though you had such a big passion about writing, did you ever come when writing this at a point when writing the story that it got so difficult, you didn't know what to do, or you got really frustrated?
Yes. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's easy because there were so many times when I was writing and I just thought, oh my god, I don't want to do this anymore. Because sometimes I had writer's block where I couldn't think of anything, or I was just not in the mood and the descriptions just weren't happening right how I wanted them to. But there was always that underlying kind of passion, and I think that I never stopped wanting to write. Even though there was those times where it was difficult, yes, you just have to learn to push through it. Because if you want to succeed, then you have to learn that those are going to come. You just have to go through.
Joe?
Will you be able to buy a poster or no?
No, actually, I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. So, any questions just for Aara about the book and her, her journey, and then I'll talk to you about that in a minute. Okay, Jamie.
How long did it take you to publish the book?
I mean, after writing it, a few weeks actually. It was pretty fast, maybe about a month, because we just got the editing back after about a week. We did all of that really quickly and sent it back to them. The illustrations were all ready, so I just published it.
When you saw that all the illustrations that person made for you. How did you select them?
He gave us a lot of options. We described to him like what the scene was, and he would illustrate what he was interpreting. So we just go through all the illustrations and think about, okay, is this what we're really trying to capture? What is the scene about? How do we want it to look? So, like the one with the palace and the clouds, we went through a lot of illustrations of that from different angles, and we selected that one as the best. It just seems to like a super example.
Okay, how about we take 5 more? Okay, so, Christian?
What was the best part about you?
I think everything that I learned from the process. I learned a lot about editing and revision. I learned to, like I said, keep being determined. And of course, this is my favorite moment, having it finished. It's so kind of satisfying to be standing there like holding my book and having it be finished and being able to tell people about it. It's really good.
How do you feel coming back to Brooks?
It's awesome, actually. I came here a couple of times for my brothers, Ruth, those, yeah.
He's in the next one.
Oh, well, I came back here a couple of times for his conferences. It's always really nice to come back and you see all the new students, this new generation of learners.
It's funny, I heard Aara say that back in the day when she was being inspired, Harry Potter is just coming out, right? For you, Harry Potter's been around for like years and years and years, right? But when Aara was in Brent's process, that's probably pretty new at that time. So, all right, I think we have 3 more questions. George, want to give me one?
What company did you get it published by?
It's not actually a company, it's called independent publishing. And it was with Amazon. And they have this division of Amazon called Create Space that specializes in you taking your manuscript to them or your story to them, and they'll help you publish it. They just sell it through Amazon. So it's not an actual independent company, so it's part of Amazon.
Gabby?
Out of all the stories that you wrote when you were little, which one was your favorite?
Well, I don't know. I wrote a lot. I really liked all the fantasy ones, really. I think that's one of my favorite.
And our last question is to Tara, since you're her 5th grade teacher, could you just say?
Hi, Max.
14.
Wow, she's 14 years old. All right, let's